Right now, an update to claims of ICE detentions in Madison.
Plus, we continue to see summer-like conditions this weekend. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
Plus, shots fired and a rollover crash in Madison. We bring you the developing details. Well, good morning, and thanks for waking up with us this weekend. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm Jacob Montesano. You're watching Weekend Mornings on Saturday, October 4th. And it is kind of crazy to say it's October because it still feels like it's the middle of summer.
It does, and that's why we're breaking records this morning.
Yeah, we actually broke a record yesterday. Let's start the forecast there. We had a high of 87 in Madison. The previous record was 85, and we could break another record today. Now, as we take a look outside, here's a live view from Platteville. The clear skies you see right now, this is going to be the case throughout the entire day, and current temperatures pretty easily in the 60s for a lot of the area, and the temperatures we're seeing right now are actually pretty close to the average high that we see this time of the year, and this is the time of the day that we normally see the low temperatures. That really goes to show you how warm it will be later. Another reason it's going to be warm is we're going to have a pretty some breezy conditions out of the south, bringing in that warm air. Gusts around 25 to 30 miles per hour today, then up around 30 miles per hour tomorrow, so it will be a bit windier tomorrow. But today will actually be the warmer of 2 days. Looking at the forecast, plenty of sunshine all day, highs in the upper 80s with plenty of sunshine, some breezy conditions. La Crosse will have a very similar forecast. Plenty of sunshine, highs in the 80s again. Now, we're going to have 80s in the forecast for Sunday, but we're going to see some pretty big changes after that. I'll talk you through the forecast on that coming up a bit later.
And we'll be checking in for it. Thanks, Jacob. We begin this morning following breaking news overnight. Claims of ICE detaining people in Madison are now confirmed. The Department of Homeland Security confirms ICE arrested 7 people in a, quote, targeted vehicle stop. 39-year-old Ishmael Hernandez Padilla was one of those arrested after allegedly attacking a Madison woman last month. The woman said she played dead until Hernandez stopped beating her. The arrest happened early Thursday morning. National advocacy group Forward Latino hosted a news conference in Milwaukee yesterday addressing the detentions.
Madison, of the 7 construction workers, we know that they were targeting one person. And again, it's just this larger, they're just grabbing who was there, right, in the home with them.
They say they've seen a dramatic increase, and Madison police confirmed ICE carried out immigration enforcement after being alerted by community partners. Developing now, Madison police responded to a report of shots fired near the 3rd Avenue Bridge. At the 3300 block of Lexington Ave, Madison patrol vehicles blocked off roads in every direction just before midnight. Crews on the scene could see the bullet hole in the front door of the home. You see that there, and they reported heavy police presence canvassing the neighborhood. I did reach out again this morning, but officials are currently unable to confirm those details at this time. We will keep you updated as the story develops. Also in developing news overnight, Madison police responded to Winnebago Street on Madison's east side for a rollover crash. Crews on scene saw a large police presence, including Madison Fire, EMS, and a Monona PD squad car. You can see here the vehicle is flipped. It closed streets from midnight to 2 a.m. Officials searched it and escorted one person in handcuffs. In more local news, one person is dead and another airlifted to the hospital after a crash with a dump truck in the town of Green Lake. The Green Lake County Sheriff's Office says that a loaded dump truck was going north on County Highway A near Miller Road when it hit a truck going east. This happened yesterday morning. The pickup truck driver was airlifted. The passenger died on the scene. Green Lake County Medical Examiner, the Sheriff's Office, and State Patrol are continuing to investigate. Now, if you're heading to the farmers market today, there's no need to remember your quarters for parking meters. The city is now offering a new way to pay. Parking in Madison just got easier with these new meters, allowing you to either download an app that lets you pay directly from your phone or to text a number listed on the meters and pay. City officials expect the change to improve access to downtown parking and make it easier for folks. And this morning in world news, we are a step closer to the end of the war between Israel and Hamas. Both sides have agreed to parts of President Trump's peace deal. Christian Benavides has the latest.
Smoke could be seen rising from Gaza this morning, but there is newfound hope on both sides that there could soon be an end to the war between Israel and Hamas after the two agreed to parts of a deal brokered by President Trump.
I think it's a really good sign of the whole situation. The deal that Trump and Netanyahu, they are preparing for Hamas, they are making for Hamas, it's a good deal.
It's happy news. It saves those who are still alive. This is enough. We are tired, this man living in Gaza said. Hamas said it agreed to release the hostages it took on October 7th, nearly 2 years ago, as part of an overall deal to end the war, but wants to negotiate some parts of the deal.
The first condition is that the war should stop, as President Trump said. If we release all of the war prisoners, the war gonna stop.
President Trump posted on social media, based on the statement just released by Hamas, I believe they are ready for lasting peace. Israel must immediately stop the bombing of Gaza so that we can get the hostages out safely and quickly.
This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down and concrete.
Late Friday, Israel said it was ready to implement the first phase of President Trump's plan. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
A silent auction for rural Palestinian families impacted by the war is now live. The bids just started yesterday. You can view the artwork until October 13th at Java Cat Coffee in Madison. There will be an artist meet and greet on the 9th from 5 to 6 p.m. and the artwork is inspired by photographs of a rural region in the southernmost end of the West Bank. Here are Friday's closing numbers with mixed results to end the week. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones jumps more than 238 points. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, falls more than 63, and the S&P is essentially flat. Now, local sports bar across the state are preparing for a busy day today. Features Bar expects a full crowd as the Brewers head into the playoffs. Throughout the season, it's seen an uptick in fans coming out to watch games, and hope today will be no different.
Well, we're hoping that we get a big crowd out here for it. Brewers have done really well this year, and it's definitely something we're excited for.
They're looking forward to the boost in business. And we're all getting ready for today, the I-94 rivalry on steroids. The Brewers and the Cubs meeting for the first time ever in the postseason. I know you're looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be at the game, but for those that don't know, I am a Cubs fan, so...
You're rooting for the wrong team.
I have to root for the Cubs. My wife is a Brewers fan, though, so we kind of
there
got
you go.
We're obviously, she's going to come with, so we kind of got a little split.
Well, I hope you guys
thing.
enjoy that game today. Now
we're going to continue this morning with some morning motivation. This quote today is from Michelle Obama.
She says, do we settle for the world as it is, or do we work for the world as it should be? And I chose this because I'm reading her book, Becoming. I know I'm a couple years late, but
I haven't read it either, so it's okay.
But I just heard it and I was like, yeah, like what can I do to make the world better? So
yeah. I always like this part of the show. It gives everyone some motivation to tackle the weekend.
Coming up after the break, we're sharing a Brewer spotlight you won't want to miss in this weekend's Morning Notes.
Plus, I'll be back with a full look at your weekend forecast. This is Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Today is the day playoff baseball returns to Milwaukee.
And this rivalry has been really heating up lately. I'm not sure if you know this. I'm not sure how much you keep track of baseball, but the Cubs manager used to be the Brewers manager.
Oh,
and so that's
key.
why this rivalry is heated. This is also the first time that they've actually played in the postseason, if you can believe it. So
yeah, the first time ever.
It's going to be a big rivalry, and to celebrate this season, Nate Gibson, a local musician and archivist, wanted to create an entire album of songs. News 3 Now photojournalist Chris Hawbaker brings you this edition of the Morning Notes.
Fear the beer, there ain't a soul getting truer. We got the best tailgate parties and the best barbecuers. I work here in the Mills Music Library, and we have the Wisconsin Music Archives, and part of those is a bunch of 45s. And as I'm looking through them, they're filled with Brewers records, Packers records, there's a lot of Milwaukee Braves records, but most of them were from the early 80s when the Brewers went to the World Series in '82. A lot of baseball history right here in Milwaukee. And I thought, there hasn't been a lot of Brewers records since then, but they're having an incredible season this year. I should probably update some of these ideas and write my own Brewers songs that are a little more current. So fear the beer, it's the year of the Brewers. 1 month to record and write 12 songs. All these other projects I've done are studio projects that take years to finish. Wherever you go, and Schlitz is what Milwaukee is famous for. A lot of my connection to this project was because not only do I love the Brewers, I love country music, and I host the classic country radio show on Wednesday mornings on WRT. Yeah, well, Murph's the best manager, and our stadium is super duper. So fear the beer, it's the year of the Brewers. I noticed when we went to the Brewers game recently, you hear Johnny Cash playing every time Andrew Vaughn comes up to the plate. You hear Koenig is using Cody Jinks. I mean, all these guys are using country music, and I thought, that's interesting. Hank, the ballpark pup, his name is Hank. And the most famous player on the team is named Hank, and I made all the connections with all of the Hanks in country music. So there was a real connection to me of just, this should be a country album. There's so much country music connections. The AAA team for the Brewers came from Nashville, so I posit that the whole reason the team is successful is that they all had to pass through country music to get to the Brewers. There is a tribute on the record to Bob Uecker, for sure, and that's the whole reason I'm a Brewers fan. Well, Milwaukee's been home to lot to brew their own beer, but I think we owe a song to Bud, cause he brought the Brewers here. Listening to Bob Uecker, the best guy calling games in all of baseball, and he's right here in Wisconsin. And I just became a Brewers fan. He added the playoff wild card and interleague play, and he added instant replay. On steroids he cracked down, and he'll be forever honored in the halls of Cooperstown. If I break even, all the proceeds are going to go to the Wisconsin Humane Society in the name of Hank the dog, the unofficial mascot of the Brewers, who is also a representative of the Humane Society. Baseball is an escape for me and a joy, just like country music is. And if I can combine the two things I love and get really immersed in that, then that's going to be a great sense of joy. To be able to do this with my nephew, for a project together for the first time ever, that's a huge sense of joy. Are we recording, by the way, right now? Oh, we are. And wanting to share that, I hope people just sense that it's joyful and can either smile and laugh or just rock out to it. It's the year of the Brewers. And this season has been just magical. It's been fun and special, and regardless of what the playoffs hold, this record is about this season. Yeah, fear the beer. It's the year of the Brewers. Go Brewers!
Go Brewers! Although you
Go
are
Cubs. Sorry.
definitely saying something different. I knew it. I knew it. Well, you can support this local Madison artist by finding the album Fear the Beer on bandcamp.com. Now, you might not hear these songs today, but who do you think is going to win?
Today, I think the Brewers will win because I think they have their starting pitchers better. The whole series, I really have no idea. I don't know. It's going to be such a close matchup. I think it's going to at least go to 4 games, if not 5. And I think pretty much every game should be close. It's tight.
Okay, but you are rooting for the Cubs.
Yes, but I do think today it will be the Brewers' day.
Okay.
They got the better starter pitcher, and maybe I'm just going in with a lower mindset for the Cubs, so I won't be disappointed by the outcome of today when I'm at the game.
When you're actually there.
But regardless, I'm excited to watch for sure.
And the weather's going to be nice while you're there.
Yes, pretty hot. Not as hot for Milwaukee, which is good news for pretty much everybody, because it is going to be pretty hot here in Madison, and that's going to be the case for the entire weekend. Warm and sunny, but once we get to Monday, we are going to see some shower activity, and that's going to cause some cooler temperatures for Monday, and it's going to be a pretty significant drop in those temperatures once we get to Monday. Now, as we take a look at the weekend forecast as a whole, plenty of sunshine, upper 80s today, middle 80s for tomorrow. It will be breezy as well. Gusts could be up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour, if not higher at times, and that's actually going to help those temperatures really warm up. Now, as we take a look at the rainfall forecast, forecast. Not going to see any rain for today. Tomorrow, southern Wisconsin will be dry, but in the afternoon and evening, we'll start to see some showers and isolated thunderstorms begin to impact La Crosse and Eau Claire. And as we head into the overnight hours, that will slowly move to the east. Southern Wisconsin likely won't see the rain till after midnight. Central Wisconsin will see it kind of around midnight. But as we get towards Monday morning, these showers and isolated thunderstorms are going to continue, especially for southern Wisconsin during this time. By the afternoon, it's not expected to rain all day, but a few light showers are still going to be possible at times in the afternoon Monday before a little bit more consistent rain moves back into the area for Monday night. Not going to see a massive amount of precipitation from this, but the bigger story will be that temperature swing. So as we take a look at the high temperature trend over the next 10 days, middle 80s for today and tomorrow, and as we get to next work week, the highs are going to only be in the 60s. Now, they are going to warm up into the lower 70s by the end of the 10-day forecast. And as you can see by the normal high, these 70s will be above normal. It's just what we're seeing right now is extremely above normal. And what we're seeing right now, I would expect to not see return until next year as it gets closer to the summertime. So if you like these 80s, definitely soak them up because they're probably not going to return, at least to this level that we're going to see this weekend with the upper 80s. As I mentioned earlier in the show, also could break some records. 87 is the record high for today, and our forecasted high is 88. Really just goes to show you once again how above normal it is. And as we take a look at the forecast for the rest of the 10 days, we are going to see a few small chances of rain here and there with temperatures much closer to normal and overall, at least I think so, much more comfortable starting Monday.
Yeah, that's a drastic change on Monday. Jacob, thank you. Wisconsin football hasn't seen their Big Ten foe, Michigan, since 2021 when the Wolverines stomped into Camp Randall and stomped the Badgers. Today, Bucky just won't be looking to avenge that loss, but they'll be looking to turn their season around. The 2-2 squad is coming off a much-needed bye week and most recently suffered a shocking loss at home to Maryland. They're desperate to get back in the win column, but have their hands full against the 20th ranked team in the country. After the break, we hear from Coach Fickell and share our Badger predictions. And still ahead on Weekend Mornings, Will Loper has the 3 things you need to watch. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Welcome back. Bucky is looking to turn his season around.
Kicking off against Michigan at 11. Let's see what Coach Fickell has to say.
On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you practice, you feel like, hey, we're getting better. We're doing the things. They got the attitudes. The performance that we've had on Saturday the last couple of weeks has just not been that. And getting and taking that transition from what we've done all week and what they've done all week and what they prepared to do, and then being able to do it on Saturday is the kind of the hurdle right now that we're at.
And now we're sharing our predictions for the game.
Just a little different.
Just a little. You know?
I mean, look, Coach Fickell is saying the right things right there. I just worry about this team versus Michigan. Michigan is a very good program.
Top 20.
And with the way that Wisconsin looked against Maryland, I'm a little concerned.
And I'm just being hopeful.
I know,
So,
and look,
go
anything can happen, and I'll be pulling for them in the stands at the AmFam Field. But
right.
obviously, this is what I have to predict. I'm sorry to those that
Who knows?
wanted a
You might be
closer game.
accurate.
I hope you're accurate. Let's just make that clear.
I know,
but
we're crossing our
when we're
fingers.
making our predictions, I'm trying to be right, and that's what I unfortunately think will happen, roughly.
Well, you guys know that there is no shortage of shows streaming.
Here's Will Loper with the 3 things to watch.
It's another dry and windy day in Paradise.
Thanks to all drivers. There's a situation developing at Ponderosa Elementary. There are 23 kids who are stranded. Is there anybody in the area that can pick them up? Is there anybody that can go and pick these kids up?
Watch a real-life story unfold in The Lost Bus, newly streaming on Apple TV+.
I don't think you understand the urgency of our situation here.
Quietly, calmly, one single line. Do you have any safety protocols on this bus?
Yep, you got that.
Great, yeah, that'll make all the difference.
Matthew McConaughey plays a bus driver in 2018, saving a teacher and a classroom of children amidst the deadliest fire in California history.
we're going to put you with a foster mum called Laura. You're going to love her.
Oh, welcome to your new home.
For those looking for scary movies to kick off October, the 2025 film Bring Her Back is newly streaming on HBO Max.
I'm supposed to report how safe and reliable you are. So stay safe, stay reliable, yeah?
Two orphan siblings move in with a foster mother played by Sally Hawkins, who seems a little bit off.
I know I'm a weirdo.
Happy Halloween, bakers!
Welcome to the first ever Great American Baking Show Halloween special.
And watch celebrities try their hand at baking in the Great American Baking Show, newly streaming on the Roku channel.
I've been watching this show every season.
What you want, Leslie?
I want a shake! I want a handshake!
Patton Oswalt, Leslie Jones, Rachel Dratch, and more attempt to impress judges Paul and Prue with their Halloween creations.
I'm not a complete novice, but I'm no expert.
Those are the three things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
And we've got 30 more minutes of news for you.
But before we head to break, here's a look at last night's winning numbers. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Right now, we are following developing news overnight after shots fired in Madison.
Plus, summer-like weather continues across southern Wisconsin this weekend. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
And Andrew Banstra brings you high school football highlights in this weekend's Final Drive. Well, hello. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn, your weekend morning anchor.
And I'm meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Today is Saturday, October 4th. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Doesn't feel like October, but here it is. And it still feels like it's in the middle of July.
It does, and that's because Wisconsin nights, we break records.
Yes, and taking a look at yesterday, our high in Madison was 87, previous record 85, and we could break another record today. Now, as we take a look outside, we are seeing plenty of sunshine this morning. Here's a live view from Platteville, and you're going to see a lot of this today. Almost no clouds, let alone rainfall. And we're not alone when it comes to no rain. This is the current radar. Clear skies for just about everybody, and that includes Michigan for the Badger football game. Now, as we take a look at the temperatures, pretty mild compared to where they're supposed to be in the morning. These are actually close to the average high for this time of the year, and this is the time of day where we see the low temperature normally. Now, we are going to see some breezy conditions throughout the day and tomorrow as well, gusts up around 25 to 30 miles per hour, but this wind will actually help fuel some warmer temperatures as it will bring in some of that warm air from the south. So we're talking about highs back in the 80s, maybe even warmer compared to yesterday. So it's going to be summer-like again today, but there is a big change coming. I'll talk about when coming up a bit later.
We'll be checking in. Thanks, Jacob. Developing overnight, Madison police responded to a report of shots fired near the 3rd Avenue Bridge. At the 3300 block of Lexington Avenue, Madison patrol vehicles blocked off roads in every direction. Crews on the scene could see the bullet hole in the front door of the home, and that's right there on your screen. There are reports of heavy police presence. Now, I did make some calls this morning, but officials are unable to confirm details at this time. We will keep you updated. Also developing overnight, Madison police responded to Winnebago Street on Madison's east side. That was for a rollover crash. Crews witnessed Madison Fire, EMS, and a Monona PD squad car on scene. You can see here the vehicle flipped. Now, it closed streets from midnight to 2 a.m. and officials searched it and escorted one person in handcuffs. We'll continue with updates as the story develops. Now, to continuing coverage following breaking news overnight, claims of ICE detaining people in Madison are now confirmed. The Department of Homeland Security confirms ICE arrested 7 in a, quote, targeted vehicle stop. 39-year-old Ishmael Hernandez Padilla was one of those arrested after allegedly attacking a Madison woman last month. The woman said she played dead until Hernandez stopped beating her. The arrest happened early Thursday morning. National advocacy group Forward Latino hosted a news conference in Milwaukee yesterday addressing the detentions.
Madison, of the 7 construction workers, we know that they were targeting one person. And again, it's there's this larger, they're just grabbing who was there, right, in the home with them.
Madison police confirmed ICE carried out immigration enforcement after being alerted by community partners. In more local news this morning, a $1 million bond is now set for the man accused of attacking a former co-worker in a parking lot near Camp Randall Stadium. This happened on September 20th. The victim died less than a week later. Keith Jones is being charged with first-degree intentional homicide. A criminal complaint says both men worked as security guards for Best Security. However, Jones was fired 10 days before the incident for drinking on the job. His next court appearance is scheduled for October 14th. Rural hospitals in Wisconsin are now part of an initiative to improve medical care. 10 hospitals are forming the Wisconsin High Value Network. This enables data and equipment sharing. The hospitals stay independent but collaborate to give providers better tools for patients. They're partnering with Cibolo Health, which has created similar successful networks in states like Minnesota and North Dakota.
Think about small rural hospitals. You have one person that's wearing 10 different hats. And just being able to give them these resources have been game-changing.
Right now, the Wisconsin High Value Network is made up of 10 hospitals, but they are open to more joining.
In today's morning sports, Mark Johnson is the winningest coach in the history of collegiate women's hockey. And even he'll tell you, you got to celebrate the wins. The Badgers unveiled their 8th national title tonight. Casey O'Brien, the reigning Patty Kazmaier National Player of the Year, back with the Badgers to celebrate. Now, they're hosting Maine in their season opener. The offense came out slow tonight, but good thing Ava McNaughton goes between the pipes, and they win it 5-0. On the men's side, the Badgers lost to Lindenwood twice last season, but not this time around. They win it 3-0. And shifting gears as we take a look at the forecast. Here's La Crosse's forecast today. Going to see plenty of sunshine again with highs in the 80s. So a very similar forecast to us here in southern Wisconsin. Some breezy conditions as well. Taking a look at the highs across the area, everyone will see very warm temperatures. Records could be broken across the board as a lot of the area seeing forecasts higher than the actual record. So it really goes to show you how warm it will be today. Not quite as warm tomorrow, but still very above normal. Lower 80s will be in the forecast, but this will be the last day of those summer-like conditions because we're going to see much more fall-like weather starting on Monday. I'll talk about that transition still coming up after the next break.
Wow, the last slice of summer is actually happening this weekend.
Yeah, it really feels like this is it, at least for these kind of temperatures. We might see, temperatures approach 80 at some point, but not to this level. And so definitely take it in if you like these temperatures.
I will. Thank you, Jacob. Still ahead on Weekend Mornings, Andrew Banstra shares this week's final drive. And stick around, Jacob is tracking that steep change in temperatures, when you'll need to break out your jacket. It's all coming up in his full forecast. But before we head to break, we've got a birthday to celebrate. Today, Dodge is 3. Happy birthday from everybody here on your Weekend Morning team.
Welcome into week 7 of high school football. I'm Andrew Banstra, and this is the final drive. Let's get into it with our game of the week, where 5-1 Lodi looks to hand Darlington their first loss of the season. These pair of powerhouses have only played once in recent history. The Redbirds dominated the Blue Devils last year. Lodi's only loss this season was all the way back in week 1, and they're fresh off a win over Lake Mills. That was a big one. Scoreless in the first quarter, and the Redbirds on the run. Darlington, they're going to wear you down with that ground game, doing just that here, leading into their first score. When in doubt, give it to Ryder Fitzsimons. He signs his name on the first score of the game. And in the second, it's more Redbirds who have a couple of birds in that nest that take the ball and fly away. This time it's Dante Glendenning denning his way into the end zone, and he would stay there. Darlington does their job and stays undefeated, 38-0, and we head over to Nash Dara, who has our game of the night.
Thank you, Andrew. Tonight's game of the night took us to Lake Mills with the L-Cats taking on the Columbus Cardinals. The L-Cats look to turn the tides tonight as they have not beaten their divisional opponent since 2019, which has been a string of 5 straight losses. After 3 weeks on the road, Lake Mills looks to get back in the win column after a loss to the Lodi Blue Devils in a close one just last week. But tonight they took on a very good 5-1 Cardinals football team. Watch this first drive of the game. We get a fake handoff to Owen Cowell, and quarterback Peyton Powers takes it over 60 yards to the house for the first touchdown of the game. Later in the quarter, no fake here as Powers hands it to Bobby Tracy, who bulldozes his way into the end zone. The game would turn into a shootout, but the Cardinals of the Columbus would hold on to win 41-35 and keep that win streak against the L-Cats alive. Back to you, Andrew.
Man, Nash, 41-35, that lives up to the Game of the Night title. Last week, Verona had their 25-game Big 8 win streak snapped. The Wildcats just haven't had that same hiss this season, if you will, but had the chance to get a new streak started against Madison West tonight, a team who is fresh off winning the Madison Cup. But Andrew Riley's guys were riled up to get back into the win column. Third quarter, and the Wildcats were running wild. Jax Webking spindles the Regents and winds his way to a 30-yard touchdown run. Verona takes a 27-0 lead. West just caught the Wildcats on the wrong week here. Nothing was going to stop Verona this evening. They run it in for another score. This time it's Austin Perez perusing through the Regent defense, and Verona wins it 40-7. Heading over to Lake Mills, we're going to see that score on the bottom in Lakeside Lutheran. They lost to Mount Horeb 52-19. And how about that one up top? Sun Prairie West needing a win, and they get it 42-7. The final score at Bank of Sun Prairie Stadium. Don't look now, but Janesville Craig has put together quite the 2025 campaign. The Cougars look for their 5th win of the season tonight against Memorial, who picked up their 1st win of the season last week. And this evening, the Spartans would look to show they've still got life. They led 28-19 at the half and came out firing in the second. They'd punt on the first drive, or would they? Watch the fake punt, and it works. They move the sticks, and from there, Blake Adams would not be denied. The QB keeps it, and look at this ferocious run, fighting for every yard and eventually conceding to his halfback. A fake end around ends up in the end zone. AJ Danzo does the Cougars in as Memorial wins their 2nd straight. 50-19 the final score. Sun Prairie East got off to a bang this season, but have slowed down since, losing at Monona Grove last week. But for Wanakee, there's been no slowing down. It's been all gas, no brakes for the undefeated Warriors, and nothing seemed to change this evening. It was 31-0 at half, and Wanakee started up again right where they left off in the second. Giving the rock to Jack Solverson, that's all you need to do. He's off to the house for a 50-yard house call. Solverson slippery, sliding into the end zone, and if this wasn't the dagger, this right here was. The Warriors put another pair of points on the board. They blocked the kick, and off they go. Even if they don't put the points on the board there, they would get the job done and then some, as Wanakee goes on to win it 41-7, the final score. Looking at scores in other parts of the area, this is the time of year where you start to see some upsets, and unfortunately for New Glarus, that happened to them this evening, losing at the hands of Prairie du Chien 36-28. And how about Poynette? They win 37-6. That's their 5th win of the season. Well, man, what a season it's been for Monona Grove. The Silver Eagles have been soaring. Their only loss this year was to Wanakee at Wanakee by 1 point in overtime. Meanwhile, Oregon needs a win. The Panthers have lost 4 straight, looking for their 1st win over MG in a decade. And tonight, it just wasn't going to happen. The Silver Eagles stuck a 21-0 lead early on Oregon that the Panthers just could not overcome. They figured out the pass game late, did Oregon. Ethan Pagels pushing the ball, but it wouldn't result in points. Monona Grove improves to 6-1, blanking Oregon 21-0, the final score. It has been a while since we crossed paths with the Crusaders of Edgewood. So here's a reminder. They're off to a perfect 6-0 start and hosted Stoughton tonight, looking to reach 7 wins for the first time since 2011. But Stoughton wasn't going to let that happen, at least not without a fight. Pick things up in the second quarter. Edgewood leading by 2 scores, and Gannon Bagstead says paper or plastic. Nope, I'll just take a touchdown. Fires to Ben Morey, but his Crusaders, they wanted more. A few minutes later, Aiden Fickle, you may have heard of his dad. He's there alongside his teammate Henry Clark for the tackle. Edgewood gets the stop and sets up this. Cash Soma, he's the return man here on this punt, and he's going to hit the ATM and win the jackpot. The speedster stacking up the yards. He could go all the cha-ching. Edgewood scores the touchdown. It is Cash Soma for the score, and the Crusaders stay perfect on the season. What a year it's been for them. They go on to win it emphatically, 42-7. I've said it before, but picking games of the week is an imperfect science. Edgerton and Evansville had all of the qualifications to meet a game of the week. Evansville is undefeated, and they hosted Edgerton this evening in a Rock River rivalry. Evansville has gotten the better of this matchup in 5 straight meetings, but the Crimson Tide trying to prove the tide has turned, and this one was a thriller. In the first quarter, the Blue Devils' Matthew Wickersham, Evansville, they shellac up a deep ball, and it's picked off by Edgerton. Logan Hammer lays down the law on Evansville, but the Blue Devils get the ball back, and this time they get the job done. Lincoln Keller close to the goal line. He fumbles, but good for him. His teammate Adrian Wessels was in the right place at the right time, but that's burying the lead. How about Edgerton this evening? The Tide had the upset on their mind. Brady Buskiger chucks it up the field for Charlie Johnson, who eats the tackle and houses it. They hand Evansville their first loss of the season as the Tide take it. What a big-time win for Edgerton, 21-16. To some other scores, Sauk Prairie improves to 5-2 on the season. They beat Portage 31-14 in an incredibly pivotal and big-time game between Potosi Cassville and Seneca Wazeeka Steuben. PC takes it 33-27, the final score. What a fantastic week of high school football. But
coming up, Jacob has your full weekend forecast, and we'll be back after the break. In the meantime, email me a song for this weekend's playlist pick and tune in tomorrow to hear it.
Welcome back as we take a look at the 3 things you need to know. Warm and sunny all weekend with some showers Monday, and following those showers, we're going to see some much cooler temperatures starting Monday and continuing for much of next week. So taking a look at that rain, not going to see anything throughout the entire weekend until we get to Sunday evening. But even for Sunday evening, most of the rain will stay off to the north and west. You folks in La Crosse and Eau Claire, you might see some rain at the end of the day on Sunday, then especially overnight after sunset, and then this rain will slowly move to the east. Southern Wisconsin likely won't see that rain till after midnight, with the rain occurring around midnight for central Wisconsin. And then for southern Wisconsin, that rain is expected to continue into Monday morning, mostly in the form of showers, but a few isolated thunderstorms could be possible. And then throughout much of the day on Monday, we're not going to see a lot of rain, but a few isolated sprinkles and showers are still possible before we see more consistent rain move back into the area for Monday night. Now, although rain does look to be fairly likely, we're not going to see a ton of it. But the bigger story will be that temperature swing. So let's take a look at the temperatures today compared to Monday. So for today, upper 80s are in the forecast, and tomorrow we're going to see more 80s in the forecast. Maybe not quite as warm as today, but still easily above normal, maybe some upper 70s further north. Now, as we get into Sunday night and Monday morning, you can see that cold front moving in from the northwest, bringing in some cold air after the cold front moves through. That cold front won't move through until Monday morning for southern Wisconsin, so the lows for Monday morning actually won't be that much cooler than the lows this weekend. In fact, it might be very similar, but notice these temperatures not really going to rise all that much. They're only going to be in the middle 60s, and this is much closer to normal for this time of the year. In fact, the forecasted high is basically the normal for this time of year that we have for Mondays. Now, taking a look at the highs in general, 60s for much of next week, 70s by the end of the 10-day forecast, but nothing even close to what we're going to see today and tomorrow. So if you like those warmer temperatures, take advantage of this weekend because it is likely not going to return to this level until potentially next year. Now, beyond that rainfall, Sunday night, Monday, and Monday night, we do have a chance of rain towards the end of the week Friday, although right now we are not seeing a lot of big rains in the forecast. So in general, not going to see a ton of precipitation going forward, but we will see much more fall-like conditions for much of next week.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Welcome back. Time for your morning motivational quote. Today, it's from Michelle Obama.
She says, do we settle for the world as it is, or do we work for the world as it should be? And I chose this because I'm currently reading her book, Becoming. It's been a few years since she released it, but I needed to get to it. It's been on my list. So.
And you don't have to worry about, feeling ashamed that you haven't read it around me, because I haven't read it either. So it's okay.
Add it to your list. It's pretty good so far. Well, this is what we're sending you off with. Don't settle. Do what you can for the world. Be kind.
And yeah, do what you can. It's always about, going into the next thing in life, and it's kind of like the Badgers just going into the next game. It's going to be a warm one there in Michigan as well as it is here in southern Wisconsin. Plenty of sunshine, highs in the upper 80s. 80s again for Sunday. Then we're going to see that big cool down for Monday, and much of next week will be a lot more fall-like.
Thanks for watching Weekend Mornings. Next is Mission Unstoppable, and our next newscast is at 6 p.m. Find us streaming always on Channel 3000+.